is a massive positive, is this map, right? And in my mind, I need to build. Give me pistol round, Guild. I dare you. Get this started in your favor.
Please, just one pistol. We'll see if they can do it, because right now, Smurfette is dead. It was a fake hit onto B. I honestly not exactly. It was definitely meant to be a fake, but there wasn't really acceleration on the opposite side. And there's also an attempt for Roxy to try and find something over towards Arcade. So just not perfect here, especially with a 3-stack over on the A site. Hard to imagine Guild can get too much done here with what's at their disposal. And no util left for Klaudia. Should have a concuss coming back in a few seconds. I imagine she used that very early on to help out the A push, but they are just 3 out on the sand for now.
They've at least got themselves potentially an isolated fight towards Petra, and if Petra can stay alive and play her life, they are in trouble. She's done well to buy a couple of seconds, but the rotation isn't going to bail them out. Mary goes down, and Guild slicing through the defending side. Juliano cleared, leaves it all down to Mimi. This is something to look at, and they've noticed her early. Great work from Roxy, heads up play. And it's just glance. A 1v4. Yes, chip damage is achieved, but this could be the pistol round we've been dreaming of. Guild finally on the board.
I love what they did. I love what they did there with the Viper Wall, letting them just fight into CT exclusively. There were 2 players just stranded on site behind it, and now glance, yeah, there's a couple of low HP members on the opposite side, but the crossfire with 2 players backside, brutal, and the instant headshot. Roxy says, I don't need a crossfire. I'll do this myself. She takes down Glance to get Guild's first pistol on the day, a much-needed pistol round win for them. I believe 7 pistol rounds over the course of these 2 teams' history in Game Changers so far, and they're going to get an 8th.
This is good. This is good. I feel like we've gone into uncharted territory. What does Guild do? Now they have the pistol round. Now we get to look at the rest of it, right? Are they as deadly on the bonuses? Can they convert cleanly here? We got 2 Bulldogs coming out, 3 Spectres. Oh, it looks like Mimi's awake as well. Not Mimi in game. The evil cat one. That's good. Good morning.
Oh, the evil cat's awake.
Yep. Already straight up memeing
Everyone's
you.
Getting confused.
Straight up memeing you. So
wait a second.
Nah, well.
Wait a second.
I'll
Okay, I saw it. Thanks for that one.
Yeah,
thanks. That's awesome.
So supportive.
Mimi, big fan of the Nurunch, by the way. G2 just went for the North Side Crunch.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Are you
pushing
trying
out of
to do
arcade,
these
pushing out of dish.
sort of things like like the Shiko, like the Triddle? You've got one yourself, have you? Is this what you've been working on for the casting duo?
Yeah. Look, it's the debut is coming soon. Everyone get excited for it.
People,
Again,
look,
not the Mimi in
rumors
game. The Mimi in
the
game a little bit better.
It's a very exciting prospect. This should be a formality, really. Again, it is pretty much just sheriffs. I think there was that, excuse me, classics. There wasn't just that one sheriff. That's been removed. Mimi's gone down. So again, comfortable work for Guild, nice and clean. And yeah, no big threats, which is ideal. This is good for Guild. And exactly what the doctor ordered to get map 2 back on track.
Gotta love that. Well, now the question is, can they convert around 3 as well as G2 were able to convert both of their bonuses back on bind? Something tells me maybe not quite as simple this time around. And one thing that Guild are going to have to worry about seriously, which I'm super glad actually that we get to see double Cypher on this map. I think Chamber in general is just madly overrated unless you have like really sick oppers. I like to see much more Cypher, but specifically against a Neon, Cypher just poses so many problems for her because she moves so fast that she can't even like prepare herself for the tripwires. Now nothing set up over towards B, so just has to work against the flashes from Mary up towards heaven, but definitely some options for her to get shut down later in the game.
They're liking this fake. I kind of like the concept of it. Needs that gets it. Smurfette gets away with daylight robbery on that kill, but she'll take it every day of the week. Now,
no, that was literally murder that she got away with. That wasn't robbery. That was just, let's call it what it is. She just ran into tower, got a kill, and is gone. Just a hit woman over there.
But I wish they'd accelerate towards A off the back of this. Like, the whole intent is to pull rotation, but by the time that they've started to make progress towards A, and not so subtly, G2 have kind of chilled on the over-rotate towards B, so they haven't really achieved everything they wanted. Fortunately, Roxy's on the case. Gonna catch Juliano trying to head towards that north.
Yeah, it's that same wall, but this time not going for sand control. That's what G2 was expecting, and quickly trying to fight back into main. Get a shot through the smoke, why don't ya? But the site does belong towards Guild. They should be able to get this one down, but never are going to have that safety of retreating into A main. They always have to be on guard for some players to be there, and they're sending both flashes into main to try and re-clear.
This is uphill now. We asked for a good bonus, and it looks like that's exactly what we're getting. Glance. Still good for one towards aNNja, and Petra did slip the site, but still, Klaudia there with the Bulldog. And there should be upgrades galore, so looking to see Klaudia find that, and does. So, Guild, we asked for it, and we got what we asked for. So 3-0, G2 going to be put on notice here. And this is the one downside to not getting to see these teams on a regular basis. You know, if they don't play outside too much of just game changes, it's very hard to see progress on maps. So again, when we looked at Bind, for example, obviously there was a question mark of, well, how up to date are G2 on it? And the answer was perfectly. They are comfortable. They have no problems there. Now, Fracture wasn't something within their wheelhouse, to be fair, and it still looks like it may not be. We'll obviously see that as it goes on, if it does continue to be the case. Smurfette gonna head straight on in, outdo Petra, and power on forward. And this might be a nice little confidence booster for Smurfette, who's had a brilliant start. Again, something that we don't see them get very often because G2 normally shut them down very early. We could see a little bit of that benefit. The ult cycle will hit better now because they did get that pistol. So many of those early boons, those advantages that you get by getting the pistol and the follow-up, and obviously the bonus too, they get to reap all of those rewards. So again, this could be a different look here, and G2 certainly will have their work cut out.
It's also worth noting, Guild are usually a team that plays no duelist. On most of the maps, they do play Smurfette, often on chamber duty for them. So the pace of their rounds usually ends up being a little slower, and that's what you're seeing here. It's like quick hit to get a kill, then reset and lurk. Like we're walking into spawn here through generator. It's absolutely mental. But Klaudia gets the trade on the kill on Smurfette. They do have to worry about the player tower, but it's just a shorty. So Juliano peeking into that, not going to be too effective. But I think that does play in a little bit. Like on these maps where Guild are basically forced to play a duelist, like if you play Bind or Fracture without a duelist, like you just are objectively trolling. You just need that ability to quickly enter onto a site, capitalize off your utility. So very good to see that 3 of 4 rounds now, I believe Smurfette has been super effective on that initial entry and playing off her teammates' utility.
Yeah, it's been quite impressive to watch, and nice as a little bit of a reminder of the diligence that Guild has that often gets kind of crushed under the weight of G2. So a nice little reminder here. And now the first real threatening round coming through. So the full purchase should be out and about for G2. I am seeing Juliano opt for the operator as well. A couple of ults very close by, but of course on the other side they have plenty to play with. Roxy's less influential, but if you look at Smurfette or Klaudia, both can be pretty nasty to play against. So happy to see this look from Guild, and something that I think it was Ryan on the desk was discussing, and Kukuka, was that when we saw Guild get aggressive to try and play ahead of it, they actually didn't do too badly. We saw a little bit of that mechanical capability hit. So again, this could really be quite an influential map for them in a moment to really send a message through here. An early space, caught 4-on-1 by Smurfette.
Quick ult from the breach too, and Smurfette trying to get out on towards site. The ult is perfect. The concussion allows Smurfette to get one, but Mimi is still alive on site, and the pressure from Sands is coming in. Great shots from Klaudia, and the retake of Sands from Mary is perfect. 2 kills, and the spike retreats back into main.
And they're going to note this. They're going to have heard those steps, so Klaudia going to try and be as fast as possible. Will be somewhat beaten to the punch with the rotation coming out from Petra, though, who will get there first. So we'll be able to see this cross. Does still have utility to invest as well. How do they try and navigate this space? Well, Roxy going to try and allow for the cross. And they're very aware of the angle that Petra might have been holding. So she looks for another option. At least they've got that safe plant down. Roxy ready for the fight as well. Looks for the swing. Doesn't win it, though. Petra's got that down. Now it's Klaudia. A 1v2, and truly a veteran in these situations. I like this, trying to play with the timing and get the cross herself to try and punish them as they try and make it to the spike.
One enemy remaining.
Really hard to find the timing, but she gets it. The flash as well. Petra has to retreat. Back up towards tower. Nothing to work with now, and Mary's going to get it at least to half. Klaudia feeling the time pressure, has to go for the swing now, and she gets it. Mary looking the other way. Klaudia with the 3K, and Guild stay perfect here, 5-0.
And that's the perfect example of why you want someone like Klaudia in this team. 11-0, huge impact so far. Just, again, and the safest pair of hands, right? Like, if you look at Juliano, in my mind, super flashy player, high impact when she has it, like, plays that role perfectly. That's one end of it. On the other side, I look at Klaudia, super safe, super cerebral, but also mechanically nasty with it. Very, very clutch. So again, great reposition to catch the cross to try and determine that down to a 1v1, forcing G2 back onto Sheriffs. 5-0. Gilda absolutely running this map, and it's exactly what they needed. Juliano up and over, punishing aNNja off the rip.
One of the goofiest angles in Valorant, but Guild just caught. Maybe we're trying to hold that and could have just lost. Couldn't quite tell on that one, but regardless, Juliano gets the kill. Now, the good news for Guild is that gun is not able to be retrieved. Guild are playing 4 players on the south side here, so this gun in no danger whatsoever, but it doesn't really matter. If Juliano just goes and gets an ace, ness with a good shot there will equalize just a little bit, and now not too bad, all things considered, for Guild here, but so much of their entry utility, both flashers, have been taken down, so it really does rely almost fully on Smurfette entering for herself with concusses, or roxi and ness just taking contact and winning their duels.
Okay. Well, off the back of Mimi's contact, you're going to see the utility coming in from Petra, I believe. A little mistimed on that, and actually roxi got ahead of it, so Mimi able to get only limited information off the back as Guild do get their pathway towards the A side. So Petra can close in a little, but once again, they don't have the weaponry to be playing with here and trying to deny the plant at the very least. roxi may have taken chip damage at most, but will get away with her life.
Very aware of the flank on the north side, both with the trip and the camera there. That roxi spots that out, but Ness is positioned topside. Oh no, she's stuck here. How do you fight out of it? Nope, the ult is going to get the kill. Retake of stance for Smurfette. Absolutely necessary she wins this out, but the Sheriff is just too good. roxi in 1v3.
Ooh, 70 HP, has to step forward. Almost snapped to the second, but Mary's still there, and that impact, that early work from Juliano echoing through this round now. 2 rifles retained too, so G2 will be happy with that. They get a little bonus to this too, and finally get their name on the board. 1-5 though. Guild, a little bit of a reminder, a little bit of a probably a stark reminder at that you can't take any of these rounds lightly. And to button things up a little bit here, but
concuss as well.
Oh, the combo.
That's crazy. I did not catch that the first time around, but really well thought through. Usually it's just a, Jet doing her own thing there, but making use of the insane range. And I saw the vision from roxi right there at the end, but it doesn't play out for her in the end. And regardless, like, Juliano killless prior to that, gets the 2, and that's good enough with Mary showing up with the 2K in sands as well. Absolutely huge for G2 to get rolling again, but it's a quick attempt towards A, and through the concuss, I believe Mimi is able to find that one.
Yeah, and I want to see how G2 adapt on the fly, because they haven't hit the brakes yet, really, since we've been seeing them get into the flow of things. Couple of ults to play with too. And for now, they just need to close the gap on the board if they do want to have a closer affair here. 4-4. Once again, Juliano down and Smurfette this time on the other side.
roxi backing up here. It looked like there may have been some re-aggression over towards Arcade. And a timing, if you kill roxi, could open up underpass for you to get a quick flank down south. That's a good shot from Petra, because that's the strength of having a Cypher. You never really have to be worried about your flanks, unless maybe it's a Jet updrafting over, but no, they retreat back up into tower.
And he's ahead of this though. Yeah, Petra might be dead here. Yeah, just about trying to play her life. Lucky for her, still has utility, turns a little early on the flash and will eat it completely. Mary as well, actually. The flash doing so much.
It's a perfect ult. Mary had the rolling, or Petra had the rolling thunder there, but it gets shut down immediately. And now they have to work back into the ultimate, but a good shot from Mary will find that one.
Well, you heard the drop, he still can't get the kill. Mary gonna quickly trade it out though, as aNNja tried to get out of there, and it's all on ness. How much more can she do playing from tower? Does have the Viper's Pit to play around though. Invests the utility as she had it. Merely for a moment here. Denial, look at this. Stacked the utility up a little bit. Maybe could have tried to, I guess, balance that out a little better, but nothing can deny this diffuse. So Mimi just gonna sit this, diffuses in, and the lovely combination of utility work to really deny Ness any step towards this. Can maybe punish a couple of players, no more to be found. So 2-5, G2 finding their way back in here now. I'm getting a little worried.
Yeah, honestly impressive that they were able to win that round. I thought the timing of the null command could not have been better from Guild, but I think Mary had that first kill inside the pit, and then that trade onto aNNja there, very good. The stall utility just too brutal. Maybe there's a chance if you path down towards Arcade and play for a Molly lineup, but very unfortunate situation to be in in that 1 versus 3. Still, the money good for Guilds. They're buying into this one. They have major ultimates if they want to continue the fast hits, but I love the double hold. They're not going to be ready for Juliano.
Yeah, they have no idea. Juliano set up for success as well. Gets away with the life. Petra did go down, which is quite surprising, and Ness gets overwhelmed. Okay, it's not out of the woods just yet. A 3v2. Roxy going to invest the ult here, try and at least provide a little bit of information off the back. As Juliano does try and slip away. Play a little bit to safety here. Needs to slip back a little closer to the wall.
I don't think G2 know they have Spike.
I don't think
they literally have
either.
Spike in spawn right now, but they aren't aware. I don't know if it was on the ground and they got the kill and never cleared it because it's in that corner. They're just ran completely past it.
Surely they're thinking about this now.
Well, that's the thing is Guild are expecting, okay, G2 were just camping on Spike, so they're reflanking through spawn to go arcade and pick up Spike. But now G2 are on the hunt because they have no idea. They think they're going for the plant on B. They overforce into spawn. Klaudia turns around and gets the 2K, and Guild steal away around that. I don't think they had any business winning.
No. And I want to kind of go back to the kill that happened on the northern side because, yeah, I don't think... Yeah, so the Spike was already on the ground even when that kill came in, so they must just have not noted it.
That's crazy. I mean, yeah, why would you clear that angle after you've already killed someone there? It just doesn't make sense. But an absolutely comical series of events is G2 make all the right decisions.
This isn't just, you know, a very one-dimensional approach. It's not just that same old run it in with the neon. This has multitudes of different looks to it. So, yes, getting away with murder a little bit on the last by leaving that Spike there and not getting punished for it, but still, it's everything else that's actually looking good. And I want to see how G2 have come up with this. How have they solved the puzzle of Guild?
Oh man, they bait out the ultimate. There's 2 players pushing down. I mean, it's a Southside crunch this time around with Glance playing right behind her smoke down B main. This is so huge through it. It does get traded out, but Mary gets the player in arcade, and all of a sudden, just 2 players alive. And now the flank for EMEA is also coming in. They're completely trapped here in B main.
Oh, the shots are on the money though, Guild.
What?
Again, Klaudia is just unstoppable at the moment, and it's all on Mimi. Quite quick to this position, though they may not predict it so early. They do. Klaudia quick to check it, but does lose her life for it. And now Ness, is she prepared for the challenge? Yes, she is. Ness clutching out with impact again. Guild still leading so firmly on this side.
I mean, you can just literally never bet against Ness in that late round 1v1. She is always good for it, and you have to be. If you're the Viper, you're always put in those positions. She's playing it correctly to be the last one into the side, the last one to take a trade. That puts a lot of pressure on you, but they're re-aggressing past her wall, hearing Mimi running up, winning out in her fight. Absolutely critical for that. And Guild, an absolute prison break from B main. They've got 3 people looking at them from Generator and Arcade. There's a flank on the way as well. Somehow fight their way through it against multiple ultimates of G2. And the Guild pattern continues here, where they always are using all utility to get Smurfette onto a site, but it could be either Smurfette going in with her entire team, or it could just be Smurfette on her own. There's always this switch up coming in.
Yeah, hard to read too much into even just Smurfette's positioning, because as you highlighted correctly, there has been adjustments. Roxy, the 1-for-1 trade, so...
Spawn again.
Yeah, that is the rifle now picked up for Mary. And you're right, they're in spawn.
Because they're reading to these crunches on the different sides. They realize, okay, maybe there's one person in spawn. If that, Juliano's not ready, but luckily finds Klaudia falling down, but Smurfette's already there to find the kills. Guild are just running over G2.
Yeah, this is perfect. This is finally the Guild we've been waiting for. Might finally get a big series out of this, but it could be that one-off map that G2 just simply doesn't sit well on. But again, we've seen the Guild have been closing in on this. The amount of times they've been slowly getting closer and closer. Pearl on the horizon after this, though, doesn't bode well for Guild. So they did need this. This would be a necessity if they do want to take us a longer distance. So doing as prescribed, turns the flash, but not well enough. Smurfette gonna shut down the account, and it is looking solid. Guild, 8 rounds to their name. G2 merely making 2, and some of that's off the back of individual impact, which you could always expect, but no repeatable success coming in for G2. That timeout not finding as much validity as they'd want.
One of the unfortunate decisions that G2 made, I think, with how the game is playing out is because they decided to put Juliano on a jet as opposed to a Raze. Like, Juliano not having the best game, had a couple of big rounds that actually resulted in G2 winning them out, but she doesn't have that guaranteed value round to round that a Raze would, with the paint shells playing off the utility, right, the stall power, these types of things. She has to put herself in positions to fight, but with the speed at which G2, or Guild rather, are hitting, and the utility, it's been so hard for her to find those angles. Look at that. The trades are perfect. Guild are just swinging around with 3 players. They've got control over Dish as well, and the site belongs to them.
Yeah, it's a beautiful split. All coming through perfectly at the same time. Until the cross could be contested. Not the case. Smurfette's fine for it. So Plant's going to come in. Mary going to try and do a little something, but Nade not really going to find what it wanted. But Petra does. You know, at least open up the avenue back in.
That's necessary. She has to find something here. She has to put down Ness and stop that pit from being in play.
Okay, attention being drawn. Juliano set up for this. That's one with the trade. Ness, great consideration. The underhand flash will find no one. And Guild still sitting in this post-plant comfortably. Mary, though, isolates aNNja. And maybe could get at least a half on this. The spam from Ness will eventually come out, and Mary's going to predict that. Let's wait for it. There it is. But Ness, again, the clutch queen herself, happy in this one. So solid in this. Again, if you look at the kind of bookends of how these rounds start, between Klaudia and maybe Smurfette finding so much value on the way in, and then Ness clutching out, it's hard to see a way in for G2.
It's crazy because I think, like, overall Guild are definitely playing much better than G2, but with these rounds that Ness is clutch, like, this could easily be like a 7-5 half for Guild, right? And then you're like, oh, you know, it's really close. Your opinions start to change, but I think the hits have been so effective from Guild. The retakes from G2 have been very good as well. Like, they've been able to marry consistently. Has been able to find 1 or 2 when she's trying to get a foothold back on site, but Ness has just been so solid in those situations, and playing off-site, the ultimate, it's gonna be a spawn push. Smurfette wants it. He shuts it down.
Yeah, getting a little ahead of themselves in the confidence, but I like it. Why not try and add insult to injury, salt to the wound? And the pop of the ult on the other side just to ensure safety for the cross as well. So you can see the Viper will go up to facilitate the spike to be able to get towards the side safely. Deep flash towards CT, but careful of those ropes, aNNja. Sharp with the turn. The follow-up flash won't have the impact she wants, but it's still fine. She's got the angle to play with now.
Secret agent aNNja working up the rope through the concuss. She has to find something. How do they keep getting away with it? Ness last round full concussed. aNNja here just weathering it and finding those kills. Insanity, but Juliano's not done just yet.
They need some more, though. It's the one ain't enough now. They've at least got the information on the player on the site. You can see the utility being cycled through to buy some time. Juliano trying to evade detection. Finds another. Roxy's gone. Needs more. Gets more. Juliano, even after a quiet map by her standards, still finding impact. And that's going to be 3, creating the 9-3 scoreline. Guild are firmly in the lead, but there is a chance when you see that score.
Switching sides.
Oh man, Juliano. Like, yeah, quiet map, but the rounds she wanted to win, G2 won. Like, just finding heads with those knives. The second kill, kind of absurd there. Working down underneath A site, absolute perfection. But this is again where I think attacking may be a bit of a struggle. Finding some room onto a site with the jet, not as strong at capitalizing, but yeah, I mean, finding the head there, absolutely absurd. It's the new season of Spy Family right there. Just find it. Secret agent going up, below, over, under, everywhere. But now G2 gonna have to actualize the curse, because like you were saying, Pearl coming up next, maybe Guild can change something, but G2 looked so oppressive on that map the other day that this is a must-win for Guild.
Yeah, this is gonna be. It's so critical. I can't stress it enough. They cannot get overwhelmed. They can't drop the ball. Pistol round again. I'm gonna say it's paramount. You can't avoid it. And so far, so good. Guild getting the job done, and Petra and Glance somewhat irrelevant to outcome. How are they going to try and manage their way in? So many bodies on the site. Rotations coming in. The cross shouldn't even be possible.
Right here.
So, with the utility they have left, they've got a little bit of play with it. Glance won't be able to do too much here with this one yet. Petra cycling back their utility, just coming off of the cooldown. One smoke still to invest in. The only option they really have is to slip CT. Now, they don't know that, right? They're trying to find the information as they go, trying to figure it out. Now Klaudia already smart to it, quick to it too. I think Roxy just caught a glimpse of it. So now Klaudia on red alert does get overwhelmed. And now Roxy in no man's land committing towards this is dangerous, but they turn their attention towards Smurfette.
Smurfette, not much utility, and she rightly calls it back. Guild had taken a couple of just solo fights in a row. I like Petra sticking up here, though. No one expects the late swing off of rope. This next timing could be everything for her.
It's perfect. She's punished Roxy, and now the utility in the right place. But can she get two of these players on the cross here? She's trying to get ahead of it. They're so aware of what she wanted. And Smurfette denies it. Defuse is now coming up, and that's going to be double digits achieved for Guild. Everything they would have wanted and exactly what they needed.
And securing both pistol rounds as well for Guild, absolutely huge in terms of taking care of this map very quickly with relative ease. I like the attempt from Petra there. Had one flash in the inventory, but going for a peek first to take the fight, then capitalize on the flash later. Probably one of the better ways to win out that round, but just can't do it with the double stack and just a pistol in the hand. It's not going to happen. So no force coming through from Guild. This surprises me somewhat. I think getting the spike down, you have enough money for stingers on virtually everyone, and Guild going up to 11, very, very risky business here with just the 3 in the first half.
Yeah, and an aggressive start again. Guild are just being dominant in this. And Smurfette's closing the gap now. With this little bit of contact coming in, you can see it. Instantly attention turns, but it's too late. Smurfette's at the door and keeps pushing forward. Rejoins the rest. Mary now deleted. Roxy going to be trying to head on forward. A little bit of a stack towards the entryway, but Juliano would need a bloody miracle to get away with that. Not going to happen this time. And now the 3 remaining for Guild can somewhat comfortably work their way through. The spike is pretty far away here.
Yeah, something tells me not going to win this round. Just a wild hunch, that I've somewhat gathered through my years of experience with Valorant.
How strong is your caster curse? I'm curious.
I don't think anyone's this strong.
Okay, hey, look, Sliggy's been cursing games like a champion. I've heard it. So, but no, you're right. There was very little way out of that. But 11-3 now. Ults, no one's really made massive. I mean, Petra and Glance not far away on the other side. Roxy, but not really one that can instigate much. Looking at Smurfette, 3 off hers. So, again, it's a bonus round. You're looking at damage, but no ults to really influence outcome for Guild here.
Sure. I think it's looking at post-plant for G2, right? With Spike in the hands of Petra, you get a kill, you get the plant down. Oh, then all of a sudden you can stall out the retake. That breach ult, pushing back towards CT, especially from A site, really, really effective at shutting it down, especially if there's not a flank. But something tells me Guild going for these flanks all the time. Instant push from Smurfette. She's in spawn already off the rip. And again, with Mary solo playing A main, I really dislike the setup, especially with the rifle. It's a free rifle into the hands of Smurfette now.
Okay. Dealt with towards Juliano. Waiting for the rest. I'm waiting for this to go wrong because it's 9-3 half. You know, Gilda looking confident. I'm like, oh no, it's gonna go wrong. But actually, it's going oh so right for them until Mimi and Glance do combine to do some damage here. Glance still doing everything she can, but now with 2 rifles back in the hands of Guild, they're so well situated. Has ult to invest too, though. So I wonder if she could find potential placement for this, as now she just sits and waits.
It's a good reposition from Guild, though. Sneaking underneath, making it back over towards CT. Now, Glance did make noise running away, so they're considering maybe it's, I mean, it can't really be A main because they have a camera in there, but could be CT.
30
That's why they keep
seconds left.
carrying back, but now Glance getting decayed, timing it out, has to make noise dropping down, and then there's 2 players swinging, and you still expect someone to be on site itself.
It's 12. A sigh of relief from me, and I'm sure Guild are absolutely loving it.
Match point.
Actually in the driving position in this, really bringing it home. We asked a lot of them. We want to see those pistols coming through. We want to see impact and influence in the bonus conversions. This is actually what we needed. We needed a reminder that Guild are damn good, because every time you watch Guild against anyone other than G2, you see all this potential, all this capability, all this individual impact and everything they can do. It makes you a believer. You're like, oh, well, surely this time they'll get across the line, right? And it's always fallen to pieces, Ender. But this time, maybe it's different. Maybe it all goes to, to rubbish after this, and it all goes back to normal. But maybe not. Maybe this is the game that Guild finally can push G2 in.
And again, the Spike is alone in A main. I do not understand what G2 are doing with these solo A main players. Important utility. It's not like a Cypher lurk or a Jet lurk or someone without meaningful utility for getting onto a site. It's the Spike this time around. They're just running around the map seeing if they can find a fight, but I suppose Mary will trade that one back, and they're into sand now, but not going to be easy whatsoever to recover that.
No, it's not. Mary's still punishing here, but these two players, Roxy and aNNja, close it now. Can they shut the account down? Get this game over with. It looks like Roxy wants it done with. She wants to move on. Next map. Put it up. Mary down on 5 HP. This feels like a formality, and Guild finally breaking in. We're at a 1-1 series now. This is a best of 5 though, aNNja. So it's a marathon and not a sprint. We need to see this level performance going forward.
We get to see the 3 maps these teams always play from the last grand final, the first 3 maps from the last BO3 they played just a couple of days ago. That's coming up. We have Pearl, Ascent, Icebox to close things out. Icebox that Guild handed a defeat to G2 the first time in a long time.